we will continue with the next part. So as I told you in the previous video, in this particular video, we will be focusing on calculating the growth using the historical growth model, the Gordon's growth model, and also we will focus on calculating your KE. So in order for you to do that, guys, you please be aware that there are many methods that you need to use, that there are multiple ways that you need to follow. So how do you do it? What do you do? So if you look at my screen here, based on what I told you yesterday, there are two methods to calculate the historical growth model, which is there are two methods to calculate growth, which is the historical growth model and also the Gordon's growth model. So what I want you to do is, when you look at the historical growth model, you must remember this formula. So guys, I'm going to just scroll down. I'm going to teach you calculating growth. Okay. Okay, so to calculate growth, the first one is your historical growth model. So for your historical growth model, G equals to current over past to the power of n minus 1. So here, there are a few things that I need to show you, that I need to teach you, that I need to remind you. What are they? So guys, remember, whenever I write here the current and the past, this is your current dividends. This is the past dividends. That means what you need to do is you need to find here the most recent. Okay, the most recent dividend. Here is the oldest dividend. Okay, when you find the value of n is equals to the number of jumps. Okay, what do I mean by number of jumps? Let's say the examiner gave you year and then dividend. So let's say he did x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. Okay, and then he gave you 31 cents, 33 cents, 36 cents, 41, 44. Example, huh? Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to calculate what is your growth of your dividend. So at every jump here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here n will be 4. If it's 3, it's 3, 2, and so on. Okay. Now, another thing that I want to remind you guys is consistency. What do I mean by consistency? Consistency means, okay, when you calculate your figures, your values, if this is in cents, then this has to be in cents as well. If this is in dollars, this will also be in dollars. So I just want you to pay more attention on little things rather than the bigger picture, because from experience, the little things are the one that causes you to lose unnecessary marks. All right. Now here, once you have done this, then you can proceed to calculating the value of G. So what does G represent, guys? Okay, so G represents the growth in the company's dividend. So guys, you must remember this growth that you are calculating is actually based on historical growth. All right, and you will use this historical growth, use the historical growth as a basis to calculate future growth. which means that your historical growth that you calculate is equals to, so historical growth equals to future growth. Why you do this? Because you assume that this historical growth is equal to the future growth. That's an assumption that you use in the calculation. Okay. Now, how if the examiner gives you future growth? Do you still need to calculate G? No need. You use the future growth that has already been given to you in the question. So, if future growth is given, use the future growth information. Okay. Now, so besides that, now, how do we do the calculation? So guys, you would have received this one here, calculating cost of equity and cost of debt. Okay, so now, how do you calculate cost of equity and cost of debt? So guys, please remember that your examiner will give you information. Sorry guys, I think it's a bit too small. Okay, he will give you information that looks like this. So question number 1, sorry. Okay, this will be question number 2. 3 and question number 4. Okay, so for question number 4 guys, okay, this is how normally your examiner will give you the information. So what I want you to do is look at this information that has been given to us. So using this particular information, calculate what is the average growth of your dividends. Okay, so now guys, can you see that your examiner has given you year and total dividends, right? So if he gave you year and total dividends, can you still use the same formula? Okay, yes or no? Okay, the answer is yes, provided that there is no change. Okay, provided that there is no change in the number of shares. So can use total. Information as long as there is no change in the number of shares, sorry, in the number of shares. If there is a change in the number of shares, guys, please, please, please use dividend per share. Okay, so I don't know what you are going to do. I don't know how you're going to write it. Write it in block letters. You want to highlight, you want to use some neon color pen, go ahead and do that. But please remember, write this down. If number of shares change, use dividend per share. Okay, so you want to block letters, you want to highlight, you want to write it in red, you want to write it in, like I said, neon color, whatever it is, do it. But please remember this. If you want, you can go back to the other page where I write all the notes. You can even write it inside there. All right. Now, so how do I calculate my dividend growth? Okay, please be aware that to calculate your dividend growth, okay, if I see information like this, I am 100% sure that this actually is historical growth model, because if not, he will not give us such information. Okay, so now when you look at this, okay, you must read the information from the requirement, then the question. So estimate the average growth rate of dividends per annum. So he asks you to estimate the average growth rate. So literally asking you to find the value of G. It is now 2001. XPLC has paid out the following dividends in the past year. So 1996 up to 2000. So this is the total number of dividend. The moment he does this, guys, you know you must use historical growth model. The most recent dividend is 33,000. The oldest dividend is 28,000 minus 1. Please don't forget to the power of. So to find the power, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so to the power of 4 equals to 33,000 over 28,000. For here, answer minus 1. So guys, did you get 4.2% growth? Yeah. Okay. So guys, let's say I edit this question. Okay. So I'm going to do it right in front of you, and I'm going to show you if the examiner edit the question, how will it change your working? Okay. So here, question number 4, question number 5. Okay. Let me just quickly erase all this because all this information is already up there. Okay. How will the examiner make your life miserable? So I'm going to show you now how the examiner makes your life miserable. Okay. Let's say he said now is 20x2. XPLC has just paid out dividends of 34,000 for 2001 and the following totals dividend in the past years. What he means is that, what I mean is that the examiner now is 20x2. The dividend for 20x1 is 34,000, but he did not include it inside here. So guys, please be aware of things like this. Why? Because you know what will happen when you are under exam stress. I am telling you, I've been an ACCA student before. I've been an ACCA lecturer for God knows how many years, and I have been there for my students who fail just because of exam stress. So now I am telling you, keep this in mind, that this information here, he purposely did not include 34,000. Okay, he purposely did not include the 34,000. Why did he do that? Because he wants you to make a mistake. So what you should have done is 2001, 34,000, and then you proceed to calculate the value of G. So now G equals to square root 34,000 over 28,000 minus 1. The number of jumps is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the value of G, 34,000, divided by 28,000 5 to the power of answer minus 1 is 4%. So guys, what I want to highlight is not how to calculate the value of G, because I've taught you that already previously. What I want to highlight is this. Sometimes he will give you part of the information in a tabular format and the other part of the information just to make your life miserable. He will put it here. So what you need to do is you need to be aware. You need to be wary. You need to know where the information is hidden, or where the information is given. Okay, so this is to calculate the historical growth model. Guys, I am telling you, this is easy. It's not difficult. It is simple. It is straightforward. The only thing is that you need to ensure that you follow all the techniques that was given to you in the past. Now, the next one, I don't know whether you remember, but we have the dividend Gordon's growth model. So in this question, it's very obvious, okay, that this is the Gordon's growth model. All right. So in the Gordon's growth model, what is the expected growth rate in dividends? Okay, what is the expected growth rate in dividends? YPLC retains 40% and it is able to reinvest, so it earns a return of 20%. So yes, I know I've not taught you about Gordon's growth model yet, but let's go now. Okay, so this is the first one, historical growth model. Now let's talk about the Gordon's growth model. So number 2, Gordon's growth model. Okay. For the Gordon's growth model, what is important for you to do? You need to know the formula. So similar to what is here, you need to know what is the formula. So what is the formula for my Gordon's growth model? G equals to BR. I've already taught you what is B, what is R. So B is the retention rate. R is the required return. G is the growth rate. Now, how do I calculate retention rate? And what is retention rate? Retention rate as a percentage of total earnings. So, if you look at your retention rate, how do I calculate my retention rate? So, assuming my PAT is my total earnings, so this is 100% of the earnings. Out of my PAT, normally I pay dividends, and the remaining I will retain in my organization. So to calculate my retention rate here is, let's say he paid out 40% as dividends. Your retention rate will be 60%. But guys, sometimes your examiner is not too kind. He won't always give you a percentage. What are alternative methods that he would do? Number 1, he gave you a percentage here. Number 2, he will give you total values. Okay, total values in dollars. So, example, let's say he say PAT is $1 million. Out of that, the company pays dividend, okay, amounting to $4 million, what will be your retained earnings? So guys, your retained earnings, sorry, it's not supposed to be 4 million, it's supposed to be 400,000. Your retained earnings is 1 million minus 400,000 is 600,000. But guys, this is in value. When I use my Gordon's growth model, the retention rate, it has to be in percentage. So what I do is to calculate the retention rate, I will take 600,000 divided by 1 million. So this should be equals to 60%, and this should be equals to 40%. Okay, so guys, very clear? Now, the third method that he may use is, okay, I'm just gonna like create a random line here. Okay, number 3, he may give you information per share. Example, okay, your total EPS is equals to 80 cents. Your dividend per share is equals to, 60 cents. So the amount that is retained should be 20 cents. Now, the percentage will be, sorry, it shouldn't be here. Okay, the percentage is 0.6 over 0.8. So this is about 75%. And here, 0.2 over 0.8. 25%. Okay. Now, these are the 3 methods that the examiner can ask you. Okay. For retention rate. Now, I'm gonna, guys, sorry, I just need to wait here for a few seconds so that, you know, those friends of yours can. Okay, now I'm going to scroll up because I just wanted to give you some time to copy it, all right? Now, the next one is required return. How do you calculate required return? It's simple. ROE, ROI. Okay, that means this one is PAT over total. Maybe instead of writing this, I just PAT over total equity. Okay, so guys, now since we have completed this, let's proceed to calculate the Gordon's growth model in the previous question. Okay, so here. So now the examiner has given you the retention rate and he has given you the required return. So sorry, this is not R, this is B. So to find the value of G equals to 0.4 multiply 0.2 is 8%. It's very simple, okay? It's actually pretty straightforward. Now, let's proceed to calculate the dividend growth model, the KE using the dividend growth model. Okay, but before that, guys, let's start from question number 1. Okay, so what is the shareholders required return and therefore cost of equity to the company? So basically, he's asking you to find the cost of equity. All right, so SPLC has in issue $1 shares with a market value of 2.4. So this is the nominal value. This is the market value. A constant dividend of 30 cents per share has just been paid. That means this is my D0, and because it has just been paid, this is X div, market value. Okay, so guys, again, I know that I have not explained in much detail on the elements of your dividend growth model. So let's go back. Okay, the last one, the final one, would be the dividend growth model. Dividend growth model, KE equals to D01 plus G over PO plus G. The growth, we just learned how to do it. The PO, guys, here, it is actually the X dividend market value of the company. What does it mean? X dividend means, whenever I say X div, it means that the market value excluding dividend. When you say D0, it means current dividend. And guys, just to let you know, here, you know, D01 plus G can also be expressed as D1. So this is my current dividend, future growth, future dividend. Okay. Now, market value excluding dividend. That means this market value has excluded dividend. How do you know whether it's excluded dividend or not? If the examiner say dividend has just been paid, okay, the moment he said dividend has just been paid, this means that your market value is already X dividend market value. Okay, if dividend is yet to be paid, so here, okay, that means your PO is not X div, it's cum div. What does it mean by cum div? Cumulative dividend. Cumulative dividend. So cum div, cumulative dividend. To convert cumulative dividend to X dividend, you know what you do? You take your P0 cum div minus DO, you will get P0 X div. Guys, this is important because examiner has tried to trick our students before, okay, by asking these kind of funny questions. All right, so now back to our question previously. So here, to find my KE equals to he did not give you the value of G. That means this particular company dividend has got no growth. That's why he said constant dividend. So it is 0.30. Sorry, I want to use a different color to signify the importance. Okay, 0.30 divided by 2.40. So it's equals to 12.5%. So guys, I just want to remind you about one thing here. It has to be either consistent in dollars or in cents. If you don't ensure it's consistent, you are going to make a mistake and you're going to get a wrong answer. Okay. The next one, TPLC has issued 50 pence shares with a market value of $4.20. Okay. This should be 50 cents, not pence. Pence is for okay, with a market value of $4.20 per share. So this will be my P0. The dividend of 40 cents per share has just been paid. So this is my DO. The dividends are growing at 6% per annum. This is the value of G. Okay. So now to calculate it, similar methodology, KE equals to 0.40, 1 plus 0.06 over 4.20 plus 0.06. So the only difference is this has growth. The previous question did not have any growth. Okay. So this return would be 16.1%. Now, let's proceed to number 3. Again, he's asking you for cost of equity. The only difference is that your dividend growth rate is slightly different. Okay. So here, the market value of the share, dividend is 30 cents. It has just been paid. So this is your POX diff. So P0, D0, and G. KE equals to 0.3, 1.08 over 3.6 plus 0.08. So my KE equals to 17%. Okay, so guys, these are all the calculation of KE using the dividend growth model. So the next thing that we will move on to would be the CAPM, the capital asset pricing model. I've not gone through it yet, so I will do the capital asset pricing model in the next video.